See, when Clegg says the effort should be going, and I agree with him to a certain extent, is much earlier, is children, is to helping disadvantaged children when they're much younger, have a better start at that end. I don't think there's a particularly great effort going on to when you're older.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a debate as to whether you think he's right on that.
But then I suppose there's the argument that can skills like that be taught, or are they something young people just have to learn and just that you just kind of get to grips with as you go through life?
But like, I think when you're younger in life, it's like if you look at a baby, how quickly does he learn language? How quickly? Because when you're younger, your brain's more receptive to information. You take in information quicker.
Yeah.
They start these sorts of trades at a younger age. Training, obviously, not everyone wants to do the conventional working for someone, or not everyone wants to do those sort of things. They open up more broader things and then teaching skills, like more life skills and stuff like that as well. I think younger people are more receptive to learning that. Once you get older, it's like you hit a certain stage where you're learning, it isn't like many quicker.
I agree there.
I hate to kind of agree with Michael Gover, I'm sorry Michael, but I kind of see what he was saying about the whole GCSE system. It seems kind of like one size fits all, very academically driven, and I don't remember kind of being offering any alternative other than the academia side of things when I was like 14, 15. Just one direction I was going, and then I'd have to make my mind up when I left school whether I was going to go to university or do something else. I wasn't prepared for either option.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of degrees which, whilst no doubt, I included the one that I did in this, whilst no doubt very well. I mean, I did broadcast journalism in Nottingham Trent, and you know, I loved it, and I was fortunate to get on that course. But and it helped me work in radio for a few years, and so it achieved its end in that sense. But it wasn't really transferable into anything else other than that one industry. And when I left that, when I was made redundant from that, and wasn't really any other jobs around in radio, my degree, as far as it goes, became a bit worthless, really. And so I think you've got two groups of young people. I think you've got school leavers who don't want to go to university and issues with them, and I think you've got those who have done and maybe did what they wanted for a while, like yourself, but then suddenly finding that the degree loses its worth as time goes on. I don't know what the answer to that is really.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me anyway, I only went to university, as much as I hate saying this, so I didn't know what else to do. I finished my A-levels and was like, well, everyone else is going, why don't I go?
Yeah.
And I don't think, for what I'm interested in, I was never sort of presented with any alternative other than university.
That's it. It's like you're either given an apprenticeship, you're either given, say you're young, you're given an apprenticeship, and you pay, like, I think, to be honest, it makes lots of children feel like people that are on the apprenticeship feel like they're getting paid pennies. Like, literally, like, that's what, like, to me, I was never wanting to go to an apprenticeship, and then university itself was just something, I'll just do it for my parents. But then I found myself in a situation where I was thinking, now I'm sitting here, I've gone through I've looked through what I'm going to be studying and stuff like that, and this is exactly what I did in my A-levels. And it was just like, I thought it was a bit of a waste of time, really, because at the end of the day, I'm going to come out of university with about £40,000 debt on my head, which for basically a piece of paper that just says, okay, you've got Microsoft business management. And I was thinking, these same skills I learned in my A-levels accounting, A-levels economics and A-levels business, and it's not like it's radically different. So it was like kind of useless, to be honest. It's more of a statistic where if you're going to go for a job and they look at you and say, all right, this is what you do. I think there's other qualifications and stuff that you can learn in real world stuff. Like, I think at the moment what I'm doing with change makers, it's like small work towards like youth leadership and stuff like that. And I think that sort of stuff really empowers you. Like I can see a difference in myself in the way I communicate with people, in the way I talk. My thinking, like even though something's small, it's just a little leadership course. I went away from residential 4 days, and it was quite engaging. And through that, just that little bit of engagement, it's made me do my whole project now and feel like this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to achieve. And it's like something so small, and it hasn't cost me £40,000 to do. It's something that's been offered to me in a way. So it's like those sorts of things should be more open to all young people.
Yes, and I mean, you know, probably don't want to get into it here, but I mean, obviously the tuition fees thing is the whole of the kettle of fish, isn't it? You know, is that I think a lot of young people now who don't come from, it's almost taken us back about however many decades, is that a lot of young people now who don't come from privileged backgrounds, like I didn't, I was the first in my family to go to university, you know, feel that they've been priced out of that opportunity now. And I mean, as Nick Clegg himself said, he can talk to you blue in the face about how actually you could argue that the newer system is, in some senses, fairer than the older one, but no one hears that. That's just white noise.
So to flip that the other way then, is there a certain amount of individual responsibility and self-responsibility of young people to put themselves, like you've put yourself out there for that leadership course? Is that something that should be promoted more, or do we need to strike a balance between the two of support from the state and encouraging?
As far as the young people should take the first few steps.
Yeah.
But once they're taking those steps, that's when obviously as a young person you want someone at the end of the day, you started off and now it's a big thing to you, what's going on maybe. You want someone that's probably been through that kind of thing, who's a bit older, who's got experience, maybe you'll be feeling on some days, because obviously it's a full-time thing. Like on some days you might be feeling, I need this kind of support, I need that kind of support. But obviously to start with, it's really good starting on your own 2 feet. But then obviously it's just natural that throughout your journey you're going to need support, you're going to need help and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you've taken the time to take those first few steps, then you deserve like the support that's there. Nobody can drag you kicking and screaming into starting a business. But
So I suppose that's kind of a reflection of a positive of something like job seekers allowance for young people, in that you actively have to go and prove that you're seeking work and being active towards that in return for that little bit of extra support.
yeah, if you compare it to like how it used to be in the 70s and the 80s, it was very much just here's money. Like
Yeah.
there's no incentive to. They do, I'd say they do kind of keep a close eye on you. You come in with the diary and you say, well, I've done this and this. Like,
Realistically, when they come in with your diary,
oh yeah, I know, that's
it's like, yeah, I worked on a CV, and it is like, so I just want you out of the office. When it comes down to it, it's just, you're in a time slot, you're given this time slot, okay, you come in, also, have you done this week? Yeah, okay.
You do get your advisor interviews as well.
Yeah, it's like every you get that for about half an hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah, they help as well.
Just out of interest, is it really easy to just make something up in your diary that you've done, or do you actually have to prove that you've done it? Or could you easily just...
No, I'll just do it. It is like...
I won't. No.
Nah, but I'll just be honest, like, it is one of those, a lot, it's not, like, me personally, I've not been on job seeking long like that, but 2 weeks I did there, it's just like, yeah, I did a little bit on my CV, but realistically, how much do they actually go back and check that, that you did that? There's more of a thing that, okay, I'll write the money, you'll be in your bank next week, I'll buy Monday, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean that's capacity, isn't it? And you know, I mean, these. And you can argue with that system, but if the staff members were having to go and check it's just unfeasible. It's unworkable. There's a certain amount of them kind of having to believe that you've done what you've said you've done. I don't know how they'd do the time or the money for them to physically check.
If you had like a photocopy of your CV before and after, if you said, I did my CV, or if you took a print screen of what you've applied for, and brought it in, something like that. That's something I can sign and say, look, it's like this.
Yes, but having said that, I mean, I think after a certain time, if you're not getting anywhere, they get much tougher on you. You're not just left to carry on like that ad infinitum.
So are you kind of an advocate for the work programme? Kind of work somewhere for kittens?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean,
But then surely the job centre staff, that if that's how the system works, surely that's encouraging the young people to stay on that system for longer, because there's not as much enthusiasm when they first enter into it. So if there was more active checking of things they'd actually done and more proactivity on their part, would you not argue that then young people are going to be more enthusiastic about actually seeking work, and then not ending up further down the line when the checks do get more rigorous?
Yes, and I mean, in an ideal world, that would absolutely be what would happen. I mean, I must admit, you know, as I say, on my two brief periods of unemployment, it was, and I speak only for myself, but it was the shame of it.